Hello there and welcome. My name is Linda and this is my channel Linda T70. Really good to have your company today. I'm going to try and get straight into this video today. The subject is tips and hints for keeping your house tidy and comfortable to live in, I suppose, really. I know I'm probably preaching to the choir here because most of my viewers are my age or a bit younger or a bit older, so we've been doing this sort of stuff for all of our lives mostly, and there's probably not very much I can tell you, but I just thought, as with everything I talk about, I'll give you my own slant on it and you might get some new ideas, and if you've got anything you want to let me know that you do to make my life easier, do tell me in the comments. I think with me, I'm basically lazy and I don't particularly like housework. I have a daughter who loves to, well, I won't say she loves to clean, but she's very fastidious with her cleaning. So she probably does love it, really. I'm kind of middling ground, really. One thing I am is tidy. So that's my big thing, my biggest thing that I can tell you to be, if you want to, don't sort of feel like you have to run around and dust and stuff all the time, is to be tidy, because nobody notices. If you come into my house, because it's tidy, you probably won't sort of look around for dust or wonder if I've mopped the kitchen floor or whether I've hoovered, because it's clear, it's calm, there's not piles of stuff everywhere. So I would say if you can try to be tidy, so this is my first tip, really, do that. And tidying, unless you live in a house that's full of clutter, which of course is another story for another time, you know, it's going to be a fairly easy thing to do. I mean, even if you don't have anywhere else to put some of the stuff you've got, if you've got a big pile of magazines all over the place or books or something, put them in a tidy pile somewhere, so you know there's an order, because it really does help your brain, I think. I think, you know, a cluttered room gives you anxiety. A clear room is much more calming. I know this is oversimplifying it, but you get the idea. And also, you know, as I say, you know, we're all older people here, and we deserve not to have to spend all our time running around dusting and scrubbing and whatever. You know, we want to spend our later years doing things we actually want to do. So yeah, my number one thing really is being tidy. The other thing I would suggest is not to spend your money on lots of different products. I think basically there's probably, I mean, you know, this is just off the top of my head, I'm saying perhaps there's 3 or 4 different types of products in this world. But how many different products can you buy in the supermarket? You go in there and there's a wall of sprays and you know, oils and God knows what, different types, you know, 10 different types of polish, 20 different types of anti-back spray, you know, 50 types of oven cleaner, and basically you don't need most of those things. I was actually polishing my furniture the other day with that window cleaner, and I didn't notice because all the spray things look the same, the containers, and I thought, and I'm sure we've all done that, I'm sure we've all picked up the wrong thing, and you go gaily doing the job, and at the end of it there was no need for me to go over it again, because it lifted, it was just the substance to catch the dirt on the dust on the duster, which lifted it up. So window cleaner did it just as well as spray polish would. So yeah, try not to spend too much money on these things. And I know there's a thousand videos, a million videos of women making potions that are environmentally friendly, so you don't have to go and buy chemicals, which I applaud, don't get me wrong. It's not for me though. If you know, if you're that fussy about it, and you know, you really think that matters to you, and you want to spend a day with a little bag wrapped round your tap to get rid of the lime scale, that is entirely fine with me. It's not for me. I do buy lime scale remover. I live in a really hard water area, and limescale is an absolute nightmare here. I live in the southeast of England. I don't know if everyone in the southeast of England is the same, but where I am, it's dreadful. You know, getting limescale from your kettle constantly. And I know people have said to me before, buy a particular sort of kettle with a filter in. I have tried those. Also on the shower screen, on the taps. You know, it's a battle really. But what I do, so another tip really in the bathroom, I suppose, I start in the bathroom, is I always have a spray cleaner. It could be window cleaner spray, but it's usually, I have an antibacterial spray in the bathroom, and I usually keep bleach in there, and I keep limescale remover in there. And what I do is I don't have a toilet brush. I can't think of anything worse. I don't possess one of those. I clean my toilet with bleach if there's anything that needs to be removed. And I know that's probably not environmentally friendly, but you know, I don't know what's worse really, using a toilet brush or putting bleach down the toilet from my point of view. So you might not agree on that, but that's entirely your call. But when the toilet is used, when I use the loo, I check when I finished using it, and then I will use that opportunity to just grab the spray out of the cupboard, spray it all around the loo, the antibacterial spray all around the loo. I don't have a cloth, I use loo paper. I wipe round with the loo paper and flush it all away, so there's no cloths or rags or anything sitting around, because that again gives me the heebie-jeebies. And I will also spray the sink around. I do have a sink for the a cloth for the sink, which I obviously wash and use again, a microfiber cloth, and give the shower spray, the shower screen, excuse me, sorry, the shower screen a spray with the limescale remover. I don't do that every time because I think, well, I don't really want to keep on using it. I use that fairly sparingly, but as and when I will use it. So it's all in the bathroom. It's all in one place. I don't have to go and look for anything. So I just spray around the loo. It just keeps it smelling sweet, keeps it germy free. And I don't have any rags, as I say, flush all that, the toilet paper away, and you know, with the same with the sink, but use a microfiber cloth on it. So yes, that's what I do there. I also find that, I don't know if this is just me, but I've got some actual dusters which I find actually do seem to pick up dust better than microfiber cloths. I don't know if that's just my imagination or whether, you know, that you agree with the same thing. But they're very old and very threadbare now, my dusters. So I use a mixture of both. But yeah, I don't have any sort of fancy. I've bought all these scrubbing brush things that you're supposed to use, and none of them really make much difference to me. They're all equally as good or bad as you want them to be. So you just choose what you want to use. Yeah, so I mean, obviously microfiber cloths are quite good for some things, but they still leave some sort of residue, unless it's just the way I use them. The only thing that I did make up when saying about, you know, using white vinegar and baking soda and that to get rid of limescale, the only thing I did used to do is white vinegar and water in an old spray bottle, just to do window cleaning, you know. So that's quite good. But at the moment I've just bought one from the shop, and also use own brands, supermarket brands. So try and cut down on the amount of sprays and things you've got to choose from in the first place, which of course will save you money, and go for own brand. Now some own brand things maybe don't smell as nice as the fancier brands do, but they do the same job. So it's, you know, again, up to you what you want to do. So moving out of the bathroom, with the dusting thing, I mean, the thankless task that is. I have noticed, if you've watched me for a while, you'll know that I redid my room, my living room last year. I wallpapered and we put some panelling up. and I bought some new ornaments. I'm not really an ornament person. I find them quite difficult to have in my room, but I feel they make the room look a bit cozier. So when I did the decorating, I did buy some stuff, which I would have showed you at the time. Yeah, my videos are there to watch if you're interested in any of this, if you haven't seen them before. But after Christmas, because all this was taken away at Christmas time and I put Christmas decor up, but since I've taken all that down, I've put very little back, and I actually prefer it like that. So my tip would be, and I thought the good thing about this is when dusting, there's less stuff to move and dust. So I would suggest you try and either declutter your ornaments, or knickknacks that I like to call them, not knickknacks because that's something different. Maybe just leave a couple of particular ones that you like up, or that don't make it, or so it doesn't look, the room doesn't look like you just moved in and unpacked, you know, not unpacked yet. And then that will leave surfaces clearer for you to dust easily, so you don't have to move things. If you want to have a few things, like a grouping of photographs or something, or 2 or 3 ornaments or vases and things, my suggestion is you do put them in groups. Groups of 3 or 5 or 7 is, yeah, odd numbers tend to work, they say. So I've done that. I've put a couple of things in groups, or just an odd thing. Well, actually, there's very little that I've left out. So, and when I was dusting the other day, because I did make an effort this week to do some dusting, I had clear surfaces just to spray and to dust, and yeah, so that made my life easier, and I think I'll just leave it like that. I might put some seasonal decor out when it comes to Easter, but you know, nothing. I don't really want to get all the other stuff out that I had. So yeah, keep things as clear as possible, which helps with your dusting. If you need more than a couple of things out, do little groupings, so at least you've only got one area where you have to move things, not, you know, going all around the room, if you get what I mean. Another good thing I do is, well, I think it's a good idea, I live in a house, so I have a Hoover a vacuum cleaner upstairs and a vacuum cleaner downstairs. I know that there are lots of fancy cleaners around these days that do 25 things, and they're a joy that to use. I see all the adverts for them. I mean, in my book, vacuuming isn't a joy in any stretch. You just have to do it. So I've just got cylinder cleaners with bags, so just traditional type of vacuum cleaner. I've never had a Dyson or anything. They just don't appeal to me, so I just stick with what I know. And I've got a light, cheaper one I got from John Lewis a few years ago, just a very basic cylinder cleaner, which I keep upstairs, perfectly adequate for that. And when hoovering the stairs, what I do is I tend to use the upstairs hoover for half of the stairs, and then the downstairs hoover I can use, you know, from the bottom up, halfway up, so I'm not balancing on the stairs. I mean, occasionally I do, because I can't, you know, I don't mind doing it, but mostly I would just do the upstairs with the upstairs vacuum cleaner, the downstairs with the downstairs cleaner, because you know, they are a bit of a nuisance to lug around, aren't they? And then you know, you've got to bother with all the attachments and things, and it's just all a bit of a faff, isn't it? So that's another thing you could potentially think about if you're dragging your hoover up and down the stairs. The other thing I do in the kitchen is I keep my kitchen worktops as clutter-free, I think I would say, as possible. Now, I have some, in the effort to make my home look a bit cosier, we've got some, you might have seen them in my videos, we've got some shelves that current husband put up, and I do put some bits and pieces on the shelves. Some of it is stuff that I use on a regular basis, some of it is a bit ornamental, but I can cope with that. And I don't have I don't really have a lot of gadgets. I've got this flipping air fryer, which I'm trying to bother to use. So that's on the side, and I've got a little TV in another corner, and some fruit I've got on the side. But I know lots of people keep their toaster out. They might have a food processor or whatever those things you make, a smoothie maker, all sorts of things like that out. And I don't like anything like that on the worktop. I've said this before. I keep my toaster on a tray and it goes in a cupboard, so I get that out every morning. It's no bother to do it. I'm quite lazy and it doesn't bother me doing it. So that's one thing I don't put out. I don't have anything like juicers or that sort of thing. I never use them. So I don't have a microwave. I haven't found anything yet that I need a microwave for. I don't know whether having air fryers these days sort of negate using microwaves, whether that, you know, I don't know if you'd need both of them, but I somehow think not. I don't think anyone needs a microwave. The only time we've had one, I had one that I got rid of recently, which I got in when my son was here on a temporary basis, and I thought he might need to you know, microwave ready meals, but he never did, so it just sat there and I've got rid of it now. And we had one previous to that when we had a baby living here, and in those days, I don't know if you still can, because they change everything, you could put the milk in a microwave just to get it to warm it up, you know, bottled milk. Not boob milk, because that would be a bit awkward, wouldn't it? Shutting the door. But anyway, so I don't have a microwave, and I mean my daughter's got one, but she's got it built in, which is quite nice, I suppose. But I don't have one on the surface. Don't have anything really. Got a couple of little bits of things, but it's pretty clear, so I can clean it all and you know, wipe it all down when I've finished. The other thing with the kitchen is when you do food prep, if you can possibly bear to tidy up as you go and wash things as you go. I mean, I tend to do that. I mean, I still seem to have a load of washing up at the end of it all, but it does help. I don't have a dishwasher. If you've got a dishwasher, that won't be an issue for you. What else have I got? So remove knickknacks, keep the bathroom toilet spray, keep kitchen work tools. Yeah, the thing I wrote down here is, I've written down here is, you know, being tidy. Did I say this when I spoke about it before? If you tidy before you go to bed as well, I just feel when I come down in the mornings, if I've picked up you know, the dog's toys or the, you know, the cushions, I straighten the cushions, I wipe the table. It's just, I don't know, it just makes me feel better. Another thing is look with laundry. I'll write this on my list because I didn't actually write it, it's just occurred to me. When this is for when I'm counting up. If you can, when you've done your laundry, when you're washing and take it out of the washing machine, if you have a dryer, I use a dryer in the winter. I don't leave things in there churning around once they're dry. I make sure that I have a little bit of a ritual of getting them out straight away, folding them up straight away. I hardly ever have to iron anything. Perhaps sometimes I don't. You see me in a creased up top and you'll know why. But I mean, I do have an iron if I need it. But yeah, so if you get them out of the dryer and if you roll them up, you can roll them up, roll them or fold them up and put them in the basket straight away. Empty the fluff thing straight away so that doesn't build up. I mean, none of this is rocket science, is it? And also I've got you know, one that collects the water, a tumble dryer that collects the water, so I make sure that's emptied because I'm always frightened of, you know, the whole thing blowing up. There's loads of different, if you don't have a tumble dryer, there's loads of ways of getting your laundry dry these days, avoiding putting them on radiators, isn't there? I don't have a fancy one of these heated airers that you could buy. I've just got a you know, a an airer thing that you just hook. I put things on hangers and hook them on the airer, and they dry overnight. I mean, luckily I do have a bit of extra space that's not used by people all the time. You know, I've got a bedroom that's not used often, so I can put stuff in there. But you don't want to, or you want to avoid getting condensation, so you need some sort of ventilation, or just don't put them immediately on the radiators, and that doesn't help you keeping you warm anyway, does it? Because it's just blocking out all the heat. Another thing I've got, when I, as I say, I'm fairly able-bodied, but sometimes oh, honestly, bunk beds. We've got bunk beds for our grandchildren, and I don't know how people manage to make the beds properly, because obviously by definition they're quite heavy things, and trying to get round the side and get the sheet, the fitted sheet round, and tucking the duvet in or the blankets or whatever in is a bit of a nightmare. And I'm quite tall, I'm 5'7", but I always have to stand on something to actually reach the other side of that's against the wall, the side of the mattress. But on that note, of not being able to reach things, when I had my hip replacement surgery 5 years ago now, one of the things that we were able to buy was, you know, they I think they didn't give you these to you, but they said, when we went for our chat about the operation, there were various gadgets that they were trying to sell us, and I bought this, and I'm glad I did actually, because it's really useful, sort of a grabber thing. So you know, it's obviously if you drop something on the floor, which was the idea of it, you could pick them up. But you know, if I'm trying to make the wrong side of the bed that I can't reach, I can grab the bedding and sort of tuck it in. It's really quite useful. So I don't think they cost much, and I think you can buy them on Amazon. So that sort of thing. As I say, you know, I know this isn't rocket science. Also, the other thing you can use is barbecue tongs to get things, to grab things. And I've seen somebody sort of suggesting in a tumble dryer or a washing machine if your mobility isn't great. And you know, there's no light that goes on, is there, like a fridge when you open it? So sometimes things could be missed, but you can have a little prod around with the barbecue tongs or the grabber thing. I've got a mop in the kitchen that I use for the kitchen floor, any floor, and that's quite good because it's just got a little bottle that you fill with water or whatever you want to clean your floor with, and you just hook it onto the pole. I'll put a picture on the thumbnail if I think of it. Probably won't, but I'll try. I mean, they're not unusual, as I say. If everything here is pretty much common sense. So the little bottle of detergent, which is easy to fill and not heavy, you fit that onto the mop handle, and there's a trigger, so you just go around with a spray. You don't have to clean it off afterwards if it's just water, and they're quite effective, and they're light, and you can change the pad things on the bottom and wash those, so they're pretty easy. So if you're lazy like me, or if you're not very mobile, they're quite good. I think that's everything. Let me just check my list. So do a little bit every day. Don't waste your money on lots of fancy products. And I mean, there is a floral, I can't think what it's called, a floral spray, anti-bat spray that I use, that I spend a bit more on because I just like the smell of it. And when you're spraying stuff around, it's nice to have a nice smell. But that's just as a sort of if you can call a spray cleaner a treat, it's just a treat for me. But other stuff I just buy a supermarket brand. If you remove your knickknacks from rooms and either group them together so you've got less stuff spread around, it makes cleaning surfaces a lot easier. If you can have a Hoover a vacuum cleaner upstairs as well as downstairs, that's a good one. I mean, you can, I haven't checked, but I think the one I've got for upstairs I think it was less than 100 quid. I mean, it was probably about 60 quid or something. I know it's an expense, but I mean, it just saves you all the hassle of balancing on the stairs. Bathroom toilet spray. Yeah, don't bother with wipes, cleaning wipes. Use the spray and loo roll. I don't know if there's an environmental implication with that, but loo roll is meant to go down the loo, isn't it? So hopefully it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Oh, and did I say keep toiletries to a minimum? In my, I when I wander around, sort of walking my dogs or just generally gazing around to people's houses, and you can see where their bathroom is, you quite often see tons of bottles of stuff on their windowsills. There's one house near me, I walk past it every day, and I'm amazed by the amount of bottles, and I don't know how many people live in the house, maybe 10 people, yeah, maybe 5 people live in this house, and I don't know really why people keep such a lot of stuff in their bathrooms. I think if I can advise you to do a little bit of especially if after Christmas people have bought your stuff, I think it's the worst time now, isn't it? If you know the family don't know what to get you, so they bought you some toiletries or whatnot. It used to be bath cubes, didn't it, back in the dark ages when I was young. You know, I can understand you want to use them, but maybe put them out of the way in the cupboard or something until you get round to it, or maybe in your bedroom or whatever, because the bathrooms are the worst places, aren't they? You get soap, scum, and anything that you leave anywhere in a bathroom, you know, you seem to get mildew. Doesn't take long, does it, because you're in a damp room, unless you've got the window open constantly, which we do have ours open a lot, but you still get a little bit of it. So all I keep in my bathroom is shampoo. I do have 2 or 3 different shampoos for using on my hair. As I explained, I'd had a bit of a patch in my scalp that I was treating. Shampoo and conditioner and my shower stuff, and toothpaste. I mean, current husband uses mouthwash and shaving foam, that's in the bathroom, but my bit, there's hardly anything in there. Anything else I use in my bedroom. So yeah, so if you can maybe have a little bit of a declutter in the bathroom, and you know, empty bottles or almost empty bottles, they drive me nuts as well, because current husband, if he gets to the bottom of his shower gel and there's a new one there, he'll use the new one and he'll leave like that bit in the bottom, which I find that quite wasteful. So I hide the other one until he's used or I just say to him, can you just make sure you get all that out, because it's all money, isn't it? I'm not tight, but you know, that sort of thing bugs me. I try and get as much out as possible. And yeah, so tidy before you go to bed if you possibly can. That's another good one, I think. And just remember that if you're not sitting there looking at stuff and worrying about it and thinking, oh, I'm too tired to do this whole house, bite-sized pieces, just a little every day. The important things to keep clean in my book are your toilet, your sinks, and your kitchen work surfaces. I mean, basically the rest of the stuff, it doesn't matter that much, does it? Yeah, so let me know what you think. I hope this doesn't all sound too smug, but it's just the way I do it, just my view, and of course it's entirely up to you if you follow any of this, or I hope some of it's useful. I'd like to know if you've got any tips for me, so I can just sit down on my backside for a bit longer and not actually do anything. I think we deserve it, don't we? When we're quite old and we've been doing this all our lives, we deserve not to have to bother with it, don't we? The other thing, of course, is to get a cleaner, but I don't think I'm ever going to bother with that. Right, I'll be back in a sec. I've just looked back at that bit of video and I thought it was a bit of a stupid thing to say, wasn't it? Put your toiletries in the cupboard. I mean, not very good advice that, is it? I expect you've all thought of that. Anyway, I hope you found something a bit useful there. I went and grabbed this out of the bathroom. This is the spray cleaner I was talking about that I use, that I just like the smell of it. It cuts through grime and grease, and it's a Flora Midnight Blooms. So, I don't know, there we go. But yeah, look, I quite like the smell of that. I'll probably go off it, and I think I've got a lemony one as well. Don't know where that is. Anyway, just wanted to say before I go, I hope, as I say, I hope that was of some interest. I don't normally give you tips on stuff, but and as I say, everything I do is just comes from the way I do stuff or the way I think about things. I'm in no way, shape or form any expert on absolutely anything in this world. So with the anxiety video, the last one I did, lots of you seem to be interested in that, and if it's a topic you'd like to talk about further in in a future video, maybe we could do that. It, as I say, all comes from a very amateur basis, though. I can't really give you any advice on anything, but it's very interesting. Shyness, anxiety, depression, I mean, they're all equally debilitating in their own ways, aren't they? Well, I shouldn't really compare shyness with depression. Of course, that isn't the same thing. But for the person that is suffering with acute shyness, it does change your life and can ruin your life, can't it? And also the stepchildren video, I'm working on that, trying to come up with some interesting info on that. Of course, it's talking about other people that real people, so I just really need to check that they don't mind me talking about the situation. And the next thing I've to mention to you is I've ordered some tops, not very many, but I've ordered some tops, and when I get those I can show you. Hopefully sometime next week I'll be able to do a video on that. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch any more of my videos, there's more than 100 others out there, so please have a look. Hope you've enjoyed today's little chat, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. So you take care. Bye bye.